Hey folks, Dr. Mike here for Renaissance Periodization. Weekly tips. You want them, I got them. Weekly tip number 8 is in the realm of recovery, and it is tips for falling asleep at night. If you want to fall asleep at another time, I can't help you, but at night, oh boy, do we have some tips for you. I think we have 12. Holy crap. It says weekly tip, but gee, you get 12. So much value, and for free. Here we go. How do you make sure to stack the deck in your favor to have the highest probability of falling asleep at night if you do all these things? Notice I didn't say 100% because you could do all these shits and still be a fucking insomniac. But here are some good tips that don't involve any kind of drugs or Benadryl or anything. That's for you and your doctor to talk about. Just lifestyle stuff that can at least slightly increase the probability you'll fall asleep at night and have a good night's sleep. Here we go. First, and this is kind of an old one, but it fucking works, is work long and hard during the day and become tired. One of the greatest books I've ever read is How to Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie. I would highly recommend you read it. It takes 3 hours to read. It's an amazing book. It's written in the fucking 1940s or some shit. Hilariously anachronistic verbiage in there. He doesn't say scientists, he says research men. I mean, holy problematic Christ, it's incredible. But one of the things he says in there is a really good cure for insomnia, which is like a whole chapter, is actually just doing fucking hard labor. So whatever it is you're doing, whether it's physical or mental, grind. You'll make a shitload of money, you'll get all the great stuff that work comes with, and then when you hit the pillow, you'll be out, right? A lot of people who struggle with insomnia also struggle not doing anything. Not everyone. Tons of people who are workaholics can't fall asleep. But a lot of times, if you're not working super hard, up that shit, especially physically, and voila, magic. Number 2 point. So first of all, work hard, get tired. Point number 2, lower your thermostat, if you're able to, in your residence, to a temperature in which you are only warm under a blanket, under the warm blanket you use to cover yourself. So basically, if you get out of the blanket and go to the bathroom, you're holding your dick to pee, you're like, holy fucking shit, I'm going to die of hypothermia out here. That really highly enhances your ability to fall asleep. It's something weird about humans and evolution that when it's cold outside and you're really warm, it really does put you to sleep to a huge extent. So give that a shot. Next one, avoid huge meals before bedtime. A lot of times they can give you a lot of physical energy, blood sugar that just keeps you awake. And on the other end, don't go to bed hungry. Okay, so one of the best things you can have is half an hour before bed. You can have a high protein, moderate fat, lower carb meal. It satiates you. You're not super hungry, but you're not super full. If you eat a ton of food before bed, sometimes you can't turn onto one side or the other because your stomach's in the way. Bad deal. You have burps coming out. Don't eat too much. Don't eat too little. If you go to bed hungry, it sucks. If you're fat loss dieting, you may say, hey, hold on a second. I'm hungry all fucking day. Of course I'm going to be hungry at night. Stack your nutrition in such a way that you're the least hungry of all the times in the day before you go to bed. It's a really, really good idea. Point number 4, avoid training later at night if you can. If you put down your last set of dumbbells at 10 p.m. and you're trying to fall asleep at 11 p.m., you might still be jacked up. This is for a physiological reason. There's all sorts of fight or flight hormones that physically get sort of secreted into your blood when you're training. I mean, it's a fucking war out there, right, Iron Brothers? So when you're training, your fight or flight hormones are elevated and they physically keep you awake. That's their job. And then they don't go away right away. They all have half-lives. And a lot of times, half an hour, hour and a half, even 2 hours, they're still in your bloodstream, not as much as during training, but way over baseline. And that could be enough to make sure you don't fall asleep. So ideally, if you can train 6 to 8, and you can train 8 to 10, and your training partner's which one works for you, knock it out 6 to 8. You'll have more hours before you go to bed. You may actually fall asleep easier that way. Point number 5, avoid psychological arousal later at night, which means stay the fuck away from online arguments later at night. I have a rule where if I'm sort of getting ready for bed and some idiot asshole responded to me on Instagram with a bunch of wrong, dumb shit, I don't even look at it. I'll make a note to myself own that asshole later tomorrow. And then tomorrow I'll see the note and be like, I have to ruin someone's day on Instagram. Don't do that shit late into the night because you get so pissed you won't be able to fall asleep. Real life arguments I highly recommend not having before you go to bed. So if you're having a dispute that's domestic, don't come home at 6 p.m. Be like, honey, sit down for the next 30 minutes. We're going to argue and then we're going to get a divorce and I'll go to sleep. Right. And as far as arousal, look, if you're going to look at porn at night, at least not before you go to bed. Otherwise, if you get all sexual, actually, here's one. If you're texting some special someone you found on Tinder and you're like, oh yeah, let me see that shit. And she's like, yeah, preview. And you're like, oh my fucking God. If you don't nut before you go to bed, you're going to be laying in bed like, So take care of business like God intended and make sure you're not super aroused, either anger-wise or sex-wise or anything else before you go to sleep. A lot of people actually make that mistake. Number 6, blue light filter on your phone or on your screens, or no screens about an hour before bed. Blue light tends to keep the human body awake, and if you put the filter on that shit, it works pretty well. You can do the Steve Hall of Revive Stronger blue light filter glasses and make everything look yellow, which kind of makes you feel like a cyborg, which is really sweet. I was on a flight once wearing them, and like everything on the flight, I'm trying to fall asleep, everything looks, yellow. And a couple of people asked me who I was, and I said, of course, I'm a cyborg, ready on a mission to save the Earth. I was summarily escorted off of the airplane at 30,000 feet. Point number 7, read boring shit. So you read boring ass muscle literature or any other kind of books you've been meaning to get to that your friends are like, hey, read this book. It's really great. Like, here's this article from the Atlantic Monthly. And you're like, ugh. And you're like, it's kind of interesting, but ugh. If you really can't fall asleep, if you've given it 15, 20 minutes and you're like restless, just sit up in bed, start reading the article with your blue light filter on, or just, an actual book. Or why don't you do this? Watch one of my boring ass lectures, like Advanced Hypertrophy Concepts and Tools. Shit'll bore you into sleep within 5 minutes. Give that a shot. It works really well. Remember when you used to take biology in high school and you'd fall asleep trying to read the textbook? Might as well put that shit to your advantage. Here's a two-edged sword. Actually, both of them are benefits. If you don't fall asleep, you learn some shit. If you do fall asleep, you fell asleep. It's amazing. It's not what you want to do, because like what? When you go to bed and you can't fall asleep, what do you want to do? Jack off again, watch Netflix and fun stuff, go online and find arguments. That stuff's going to keep you awake more, and it also arguably accomplishes nothing. But boring stuff that's educational, it's a win-win either way, right? Point number 8, make your room nice and dark. Some folks sleep with light because they're still afraid of the dark. Your boy right here. I don't fuck with the dark. I don't fuck with vampire movies, zombie shit. That shit freaks me the fuck out. My friend and I tried to, he's actually the lawyer for RP. We tried to watch the Doom movie, the stupid ass one that came out a little while. We made it halfway through and they were like, fuck that. The monsters started coming out. I didn't want that shit anywhere near my mind when I was trying to fall asleep. But in any case, I have a nightlight. JK, maybe. You'll never know. If the darker the room, generally the better. Unless you're freaked out, then make it light enough to where you're not freaked out. Point number 9, make sure you're sleeping in a place that is quiet or has white noise, right? Because like a trillion white noise apps, whales and shit, jungle noises, waterfalls that you can put on your phone or any device and they fucking stay on for multiple hours or all night. Or put in earplugs, right? Sometimes earplugs are awesome. I have like this whole protocol for when I go international for speaking gigs and I sleep on planes, whether it's like the lie back seats in business class or more commonly the regular seats in economy. I have this whole thing where I put in the fucking earplugs and like people are literally arguing in front of me on the plane. I can't fucking hear that shit. It's awesome. Quiet and or white noise is a big deal. If you have regular noises to keep you awake, you can do something about it, including going downstairs, knocking on people's doors and be like, shut the fuck up or I'll break your legs. I've done that on a few occasions, actually. I'm not proud of it, but it did work. This is an obvious one. Point number 10, no stimulants later in the day, okay? Later half of the day, don't take stimulants, okay? If you're like, oh yeah, post-workout coffee, and then you're up at 2 a.m., that's your problem. That's an easy fix. Number 11, second to last, set an alarm for when you have to wake up the next day, maybe even set 2 alarms just in case, so you're not worrying about missing AM shit. Because a lot of times you got a big interview in the morning, you have to catch a flight, you could be excited or anxious, be like, oh fuck, I sure as hell hope I don't oversleep this. Well, set 2, 3, 4 fucking alarms if you're completely insane, charge your phone or set it on the charger, and then you don't have anything to worry about. If you're worried when you're trying to fall asleep, it's a bad deal. So don't worry, by setting multiple alarms, you'll be good, right? Lastly, once you're tucked in, and you've done all this shit, hopefully, and you're ready to fall asleep, do not try to fall asleep. No, I'm not going to paraphrase Yoda. There's no such thing as trying to fall asleep. What the fuck would that even look like? Like, all right, try to fall asleep. Go. You're like, like really close my eyes hard enough, I'll fall asleep. It doesn't work at all. You can't try to fall asleep. What you can do is do all these strategies, and then you just close your eyes and let your mind wander. And all of a sudden, I tend to notice this. My mind wanders, and I'm sort of in charge of the thinking process. And as I transition into sleep, weird shit happens in my thinking where I'm like, am I watching a movie? And all of a sudden I'm asleep. Ta-da. Hopefully you found this video useful. If you haven't, I'm sorry. I'll try to do better next time. And next week, I will see you with another weekly tip. Peace.